I have hit record.
Okay, then we have started.
We're getting high tech, folks.
Yeah. Welcome to Thursday. Who's your main? Who's your favorite co-hosts?
Me.
It's Jared. And Anthony. Both. Last week we had a lover's quarrel, and this week we're going to talk about. Well, you brought this up, and I thought it was a good thing to revisit. But I think before we get to the one we wanted to talk about, we could tell them a little bit about what we've been playing. That's Space Marines 2.
Oh yeah,
that's been a fun time.
Yeah, it's really surprised me. Obviously, we were having fun before, but I think we were kind of doing that thing where we weren't fully getting invested in it because we just weren't playing it enough. You know, we were playing it sporadically whenever all three of us were on at the same time, and we kind of had a string there where we were playing. I think we played it like 3 nights in a row there or something like that, and we just really locked in on the level up system and getting all of that stuff figured out. And it's a very deep game. It really surprised us.
Yeah, I really just thought that was like gonna be. Well, there was one before it, obviously, and that game was kind of like, oh, Gears of War. You think you can just do what? You think you can just come over and take what Games Workshop built, huh? Well, we're gonna make that, and I thought it was gonna be that again. You know, I thought it was gonna be Halo, Gears of War, third-person shooter. You know, well, then you get to the PvE stuff, player versus environment, and it's a three-man game, so you can play with strangers online. I think you can play with AI, but we've been playing it together with our friend Lemon, and it's really cool. There's like 5 classes, and they all play so different, but then they have the overlap, of course. You know, it's a third-person shooter, but it's got some pretty good melee mechanics. And I was just like, what the hell is going on here? Then you open up and there's a perk tree for your weapon. There's a fucking perk tree for your class. Then each weapon has its own, like, you can pick a different kind of weapon. And those have levels. And I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I just didn't expect that. And of course, you can customize the look of your Space Marine. I know nothing about 40K, so I immediately made myself into a giant hulking watermelon tank. Because there's like all these, like, you know, chapters in the humans in the 40K. I only know about the orcs, and the very very little about them. The mech boys. I don't even remember now.
Well, that's such a series. That's such a series that is foreign to us because when we grew up, that wasn't something that was readily available. We don't have a game store around us, or at least not anymore. We don't, and so that wasn't something that we were really into as kids. We were much more in the Dungeons and Dragons camp than we were in the Warhammer space. And as we got older, really for me, I think it started like back end of college years, where that stuff kind of started to interest me and pique my interest. But yeah, like you said, like I want to know that stuff. I just don't. And so we went in there and we just made like cool guys. Like I just put my guy with the bird emblem and was just like, yeah, that's cool. I'll throw a bird on there, and gave myself a camouflage cloak, and let's do it. I don't know what any of that stuff means.
You dumb git, you just look like a beaky to me. Humans have 2 beakies that are fun to fight.
Yeah.
That's orcs. That's some orc stuff. See, I know some stuff.
Yeah, red makes you go faster. Purple makes you sneakier.
Yeah, blue's lucky.
Blue's lucky, yeah.
Yeah, green is the best.
Checkerboard does more damage, more explosions.
Yellow is wealth and more explosions. Yeah, more teeth. And actually, the boys that paint their vehicles yellow and stuff, they grow teeth faster than other orcs, so they really are richer than the other orcs.
Do you think that orcs color stuff? Do you think that's kind of like horoscopes?
Yes.
And things of that nature.
They believe. And
so it is.
Yeah, the 40K is so cool. I mean, it's like you said, as old as D&D. Really, I mean, we probably wouldn't have Warcraft or StarCraft if Blizzard hadn't wanted to make a 40K game and Games Workshop told them to kick rocks. And when they also wanted to make a Warhammer, just Warhammer, you know, because they've got like Warhammer Sword and Board Life, you know, and that's where the Skaven live and stuff. And then you have 40K where they're like in the super future. There's Psychers and Necrons and all the fun stuff. All of it's fun, but it's just like, you know, there's not a lot of video games that do 40K, that do Warhammer.
Yeah, our experience has been Blood Bowl, playing the sports game, because that's actually, I think it was myself and your brother Bryce who started that game in Blood Bowl 2, and then we introduced it to you, and it really took off in our friend group playing the Blood Bowl. And then, you know, obviously you want to learn more about the faction that you're playing, and so you do a little bit of digging, and when you get into the nitty-gritty of it, it's very unique. All of the classes are very unique. They all have these stigmas and like favorite numbers for some reason. I still don't understand that. And then like they all have these weird phobias and fears and things that are special about each faction. It's incredible. It's very fun to learn that stuff and to get into it and to immerse yourself in it and become that, you know, background. You being the orcs was hilarious, especially in Blood Bowl, when you started singing that song when you were playing against me. We had a running joke where it was like the undead team didn't start winning until they realized that they could kill the other team and not just themselves. And that's when they started like really turning it on and becoming a faction worth playing against and fighting against. And so it was just really fun. We really enjoyed that universe and would like to know more about it.
Yeah, you still need to get that footage together so that we can show the folks. Show them. You know, I don't really think about 40K or Warhammer until we played Blood Bowl so heavily, and then I really got into the orcs, and I was like, this might be my favorite iteration of this race in fantasy. These, especially the 40K ones, because it's like they reproduce through spores, and like there's no gender, but they call each other boys, and it's just fucking, it's just brain dead, and I just love it. I'm just like, these fucking, and they look crazy. They look so crazy. It's just a cool. Anyway, you know, playing Space Marine is cool, but I wish I could be a big fat dumb orc. I wish you could mix the factions in a 40K game, and then we could run around together.
I know. You and I share that singular brain cell of like, here's the good guys, here's the team you're supposed to be, and you and I are both like, nah, yeah, I guess they're good, they're cool. And what's that over there? And they're like, oh no, you don't want that. Those are the losers. And it's like, actually, I love those guys more than anything. Could I have those, please?
Yeah, they look ugly. I love it. It's totally that. Yeah, so we've been having a lot of fun with the Space Marine game. I didn't expect it to be more than just like beat the campaign mode, but once you beat the campaign mode, I mean, you're free to do the PvE. Then they have like these like special missions that are ultra hard, which we haven't got leveled up enough to try a ultra hard mode. Then there's PvP, and you can play as the Chaos Marines in the PvP. It's like the other faction you get to play as. It's pretty cool. I was like, what the fuck? So we were totally sidetracked by that. I mean, we're still playing Mass Effect 3, which we're almost done with the trilogy. So I'm sure that we'll have to spend some time. We keep saying this every episode, but spend some time really spoiling the shit out of Mass Effect trilogy in a series deep dive. We've never done a whole series at once. It doesn't seem right. But for Mass Effect, it seems right.
Yeah, I mean, that trilogy, for all intents and purposes, it's one story. You know, it's meant to be consumed as one, you know, big, long trilogy. And for the longest time, you know, I really enjoyed the original trilogy. and we've been playing the Legendary Edition, and you and I both understand that there have been some changes, both to gameplay and, to some of the writing, and it's really opened our eyes to kind of some of the weaker points of the series that are now some of our favorites. I really think that 3 has been very eye-opening and very fun, but even more than that, I think it made Mass Effect 1, one of the better games in the trilogy, where before, I really did not look forward to the combat of 1, but it was genuinely fun. I really enjoyed playing through Mass Effect 1, and, obviously the story was always there, but, now the combat is on par, and so I really enjoyed playing 1. 2 was also, it was fun, but I don't think I would recommend it on Insanity, and then 3 has been, much improved from what I remember.
Yeah, as far as Insanity goes, I think, it's important to note that we're playing the Legendary Edition, and they added a lot of gameplay elements to 1 to make it more fun, and it was successful, in my opinion, definitely. But 2 is, it just takes a certain kind of masochist to love Insanity in 2. That's what I think. Especially if you're playing the classes that we were playing. Although I think that the engineer is underrated as far as, it's the other class. It doesn't, I don't feel like the name fits it. They're like an elementalist, but they're supposed to be an engineer. I'm like, where's all my robots? I don't get it. There's one robot. I don't know. Anyway, well then, in recent our group news, Lemon comes into the group the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, been watching the Fallout TV show, and I decided to download New Vegas." And that's shocking to us because this man does not like Bethesda games, but me and you love Bethesda games. And I was like, I've never finished New Vegas. I always get about halfway through some, like, Frankenstein modded run. And I was like, maybe I just need to put the minimal mods in and just beat the game. Just focus on beating the game. So maybe that'll be something that we work on this in the coming weeks.
Yeah, that's definitely something that has my interest peaked, because that's my jam right there. Fallout games are my bread and butter, and I think it's very rare that the three of us all kind of align on playing a game, and especially an RPG. That's even more kind of out there for our friend group. We're all kind of off doing our own things, and I would love that. I would love to go back and explore New Vegas. I know the popular consensus is kind of like that's the good one. That's the hallowed sacred one. And the show disrespected it by doing things. I won't spoil anything for season 2, but disrespected things with New Vegas. I really like what they did with the show. I really like what they did with Fallout New Vegas. I think people really like that New Vegas was not made by Bethesda, and so they like to latch on to things that are different and maybe unique. But I think New Vegas is right there neck and neck with 3. I think they're both very good. Maybe where New Vegas is better is that the gameplay mechanics are more nuanced, and they're more suitable to like doing a role play. Like if I were gonna stream Fallout New Vegas and I was like, I'm building a character and I'm gonna be playing as Amon, it would make much more sense for me to play New Vegas than it would for me to play 3 or 4, because those have much more contained stories. And I think New Vegas, spoiler alert, the opening cinematic, you get shot in the head, and yes, you're a courier, but essentially you have amnesia and you can be whatever you want to be. I think that's maybe one of the reasons that it's much more beloved, is because people can insert themselves into that game. But I think all Fallout games are great. I just love the world of Fallout, and I love that we're getting the chance to introduce hopefully Lemon to that. I don't know how long he's going to last. I don't know that he's going to necessarily make it through the entire story, because it is an RPG and it does kind of drag on a little bit. But I'm excited for that. That'll be fun.
Him playing a Bethesda game, if he enjoys it, I will be shocked. For those listening that have never played Fallout but have watched the show because of its recent popularity, they do a good job with the main characters capturing how a player plays each of those main characters, because those characters don't really exist in the game. Like the ghoul character is very much, I think, how most people play Fallout, like heavy drug use, cowboy shoot you in the face. But everybody does the fall. I can't remember their names. Help me. What's the girl's name again? Okie dokie.
Lucy.
Everybody plays a Lucy run. That's the good guy Paragon run, and then light side, whatever. And then the middle ground is the other two guys, which were probably the ghouls a little more dark side, right? And then the guy who's in the Brotherhood of Steel, just depending on how much you lean into helping the Brotherhood of Steel. But everybody likes to get power armor, you know? But New Vegas, yeah, as far as New Vegas goes, I was convincing myself that Obsidian made Fallout 2, and that was part of it. But I just can't remember off the top of my head. And that's why people liked it. But I mean, the story was just so much more interesting after playing 3. Fallout 3 was just like, it was okay. It was fun, and I came from playing Oblivion and Morrowind when I played Fallout 3. So I was like, this is like a more focused. Like I can't just do whatever I want whenever I want. I have to choose my path before I even really get on it, and I don't really know like how to choose it. Like I was all over the place. I was trying like fucking melee weapons and big guns and small arms, and you really can't do that in Fallout 3, and I was punished pretty heavily. I'm surprised I beat it.
The proper way to build a character in Fallout 3, it's called the perfect build, and it's you get maxed out special, maxed out stats, and you can do whatever you want. That's how you play Fallout 3.
Yeah, well, okay. When I played it, I didn't have that guide. I didn't have a little A Money telling me this is how you do it, Dumby. Yes, sir. So I'm looking forward to that guided playthrough of New Vegas by our illustrious co-host, Anthony.
In my mind, the way that I'm picturing it, I don't know if you remember this or not, but when I first played Final Fantasy XIV, I was very hesitant to get into it because I had played World of Warcraft before. MMOs are just not for me. I just can't stay in that world. I can't focus. I have a very hard time. If you say the world is your oyster, go do whatever you want. I need to have much like you said with Fallout 3, I need to have a streamlined approach where it's like, here's point A, here's point B, here's point C. That's your progression, and as you get stronger, you can start trying to get to these other things. And I just was completely lost. And I remember you literally taking me by the hand, like guiding my character through dungeons and being like, okay, now you're going to kill this guy. And then I'd be fighting him and, hammering away at the macros, trying to play my ninja and just like constantly popping the bunny and dying. And you just like rezzing me, be like, it's okay. Here, come on, let's go to the next dungeon. I'm like lusting over that for Fallout, where I'm just like, okay, now here's what you're going to do. You're going to want to get the shotgun, and you're going to want to come over here. You're going to want to get the Robo Dog, and then you're going to come over here, and you're going to get the Super Mutant. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm over there picking up this stick. Stick good! Rock! You just whack me. But stick go bonk on them, and they don't move, and don't have to fire big loud thingy. So stop over here. Yeah. Here, take a little of this. It'll take the edge off. What this? The drugs are just potions.
I know we've talked about this before. Fallout 3 was one of the very first games where I made an Excel sheet where it was like, okay, level 1, here are my options that I could take for perks. Level 2, here are my options that I could take for perks. and I built my character from 1 to max level, and I was like, here's how I make the perfect character, because like I want to have maxed out special stats, I want to have maxed out skills, and when I get to the end, I don't want to have any wasted perks or anything like that, because some of the perks are like, here's plus 10 to your shooting skill or whatever, and I didn't want to get to the end and be like, well, I wasted that perk because I already have that skill maxed out, and now I could have spent that on something else. I remember that being one of the very first ones where I made an Excel sheet. And that's something that you and I have both shared with each other, where it's like, oh yeah, if we really are, invested in a game, we like to make spreadsheets.
Yeah. As far as Fallout 3, I remember my roommate playing that. And the reason I was so fucking confused on what to do is there was miniguns and there was a power fist and big fucking hammers. And I was just like, I could just do whatever I want. Yeah, and then I got my ass whipped and I had to go the small arms route. Stealth archer, but Fallout version.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to play a super mutant, I'll be honest with you. Let's just, cards on the table. Why can't we why? We're made of Fallout 4 and we still can't play different races. Or whatever, mutants, mutators, whatever, I don't know. Come on, Fallout 5, do something.
Technically, in the Fallout universe, well, I guess this is technically spoilers, but all of the super mutants are humans that have been injected with the FEV virus, the forced evolutionary virus, and the goal was to make super soldiers, like Captain America type stuff, so that after the nuclear winter, or the apocalypse, America would be the strongest because we would have all of these super soldiers. What they didn't realize was it turned them into big giant green men, and they just killed everyone. And it's like, okay, good, yeah, like you said, let me play as one of those guys. Those guys are cool.
Seemed nice. Seemed like a good bunch, really.
I know you can get them as followers, but I don't think there's ever an instance in a Fallout game where you play as anybody other than a vault dweller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I've gone deep into the history of Fallout. The history. What was that guy's name? Harlan Ellison, and he wrote this book called A Boy and His Dog, and that's what all of Fallout was based on. There's a movie too. You can watch a live action movie too. It's really good. It's like watching a Fallout movie. If you ever get a chance, if you've never seen that or you've never read that, you should check that out, because your favorite little puppy from 4, Dogmeat, that the dog in A Boy and His Dog gets called that sometimes. So it's a direct reference too.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And there's vaults. It's so weird. It's cool. It's a cool story. It's not too long. Probably take you a day to read. You're a quick reader. Anyway, that's the history.
I remember there was a game, I don't know who made it, but there was a game called Rage. I think it might have been Bethesda. Made a game called Rage, and then they had a sequel, Rage 2. And the point was that you were rich people put themselves into bomb shelters before the end of the world. Bombs go off, and then there's kind of like a Mad Max world when you wake up. And those two games were very, very fun. They were made by, I do remember they were co-made by id Software, the people who made the Doom series. And so the gun combat was very fun. You had like this little boomerang thing as like your sidearm. It was a very fun game, but it was also based on that kind of Fallout-esque lore, which I thought was cool. It obviously first-person shooter. It was not meant to be an RPG, but still very fun game. Rage 1 and 2.
That and Mad Max. Mad Max inspired probably a lot of that stuff. Holy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a pretty good Mad Max game I've been eyeballing for a while. I think it's just called Mad Max.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole point of modern Fallout, obviously this wasn't the case for 1 and 2, but the point of 3 and 4 is that they're pop culture references. I mean, almost every single quest that you do has some kind of a pop culture reference in it. And so there's tons of references to like Blade Runner, Mad Max, like you said. There's just a lot of things that fit into that world, and it makes sense for them to be like, hey, listen, those stories are very good. We like them. We're going to add them to our universe and our world. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the things that I like about Fallout. I also think that's one of the reasons why I can understand if somebody's like, yeah, I don't like that. I want my, if I'm reading a book and it's referencing another book, well, I'll just go read that other book. I can understand that. Yeah, the Fallout games are I think they're a very divisive game, like all Bethesda games, just because, like 90% of them are janky and pieced together with, duct tape and zip ties.
And let's be honest, we play Bethesda games so we can mod the fuck out of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
They're probably worth a playthrough without the mods, but I'm putting the mods in, baby. If I'm playing those games now, unless like a new one came out, then maybe I would be like, okay, I'll play through one time while I wait for all the mods. They always release they're pretty supportive of their modding communities. I think that Skyrim's got to have probably more mods than any Bethesda game at this point. Hey, I see you got some Skyrim in your mods. What the fuck is that? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to actually finishing Fallout New Vegas so I can finally play Fallout 4. That's been sitting in my Steam inventory for probably since it came out because I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
This is the library. This is not the backlog. This is the library. We will be going to it again to check out a new game soon, TM.
If you thought I was going to be your guide for New Vegas, just wait until you get to Fallout 4. Then it's going to be like, don't you see that dark area over there? That's Fallout 4. Never go there, Simba.
Yeah. Everything the light touches. What about that over there? Smack. Everything the light touches.
Go back.
Speaking of post-apocalyptic games, Mega Man 04, I finally finished the Mega Man 0 games. And I was quite pleased with this final installment. I mean, I feel like I'll probably have to do a little write-up or something about it, but it was kind of bittersweet knowing that this is probably the finality of the Mega Man X worlds and everything. There's the ZX games. I might pick them up next, but finishing that was bittersweet. It's been a long time. I put that off for a long time. But it's post-apocalyptic. We're still in that vein. It's like the world's fucking ending. The Red Bloods are still fucking killing the shit out of each other. Okay. You're Zero, the cooler one. Is he the cooler one, though? I don't know.
No, the actual coolest one is Base.
I'm in one game. Actually, I think he was in the Battle Network series. I didn't really play the I played Battle Network 1. I thought it was cool, then didn't buy the rest of them. And there's like 6 of them, plus a GameCube one. Those games are totally different. The Mega Man Battle Network games are these like action RPG deck builder kind of game where you build a deck and then you have 6 squares. Enemy has 6 squares, or no, 3. It's 3 and 3, 3 by 3. And you can move Mega Man up and down in these squares, and then you can use your deck to battle the other. Because you're in cyberspace as Mega Man, and it's kind of like a Pokemon thing. It's really weird. Where there's like you got a handler, and he's your buddy. And he's like, jack me into the internet. Okay, Mega Man. Anyway, I played that a long time ago. I barely remember the plot. Something about his brother dying at the beginning, and that's why he has Mega Man, because it's like actually his brother. I don't know. So fucked up. Mega Man, Mega Man and Mega Man X and all of its spin-offs are some fucked up shit. My older brother brought this up. He was like, I didn't really like Legends. I was like, wrong! We need Legends 3. Don't listen to him, Capcom. Listen to me. Focus. Eyes on me right now. Make Legends 3. Take me back to the horror of the super future. That's what's weird is Mega Man Legends is technically the last game in the timeline, if I recall, which is weird considering what happened in Zero.
Yeah, those games are trying to follow along with those is insane. But I agree with you. I think we need to have them. I think that's an important part of gaming history that needs to be, if we have to drag it along behind us, that's fine. But Mega Man needs to be a part of video games. It's got to be. I mean, we can't just let that go, And like you said, I think everybody who has played a Mega Man game has a guy.
That was the other conversation we were having. We were talking about Mega Man. My brother had some opinions about what he thought Mega Man should be. And I'm just like, have you played all the Mega Man games? Shush you. Because he was saying that, he wanted, I don't know, he thinks that Mega Man should be more like Astro Boy. And I'm like, he is. He's like, but the new ones, he looks goofy. And I'm like, that's how he looks. It's Mega Man. You want serious anime one, that's Mega Man X. You want Saturday morning cartoon Mega Man, that's Mega Man Legends and Battle Network. You want super serious fucking, oh fuck, we've got like 3 humans left, that's Mega Man Zero. I kind of miss Inti Creates in their really polished Mega Man. I mean, just playing through Mega Man Zero, it just was so much better than the X4 and on of those. As much as I love those games, it's just the gameplay is just tighter. I need to check out some more of Inti Creates' games. I've played Mighty Number 9. And that game was under a lot of fire when it came out because it was one of those Kickstarter things that just promised the moon and back, and then it didn't deliver. And then the gameplay is not super great. I think it's worth like $5 now, and they've got a bunch of other stuff. They got the Gunvolt series, and that's been spun off a couple times now, I think. And then there's a really cool game that I picked up over December that I need to get to, is the Mighty Gunvolt Burst game. Now that's pretty promising little game that I just played I think the first 2 levels, and I was like, I was like pumped in the brakes. I was like, I need to go back. I need to go and finish Zero and play Gunvolt, and then get to this little gem right here. I'm really excited as a Mega Man X, Mega Man, whatever, the whole franchise fan. I'm pretty excited for the new game. I played 11. I thought 11 was really fun. So I'm looking forward to, which is technically 12. I think it's called Dual Burst or something like that. I don't fucking remember. What is it called?
Good.
Yes, I'm going to Google it. New one. Dual Override, excuse me. They're like developing a new story. I don't know. 11, you had the dual gear, and I thought it made the gameplay super duper fun. And, Mega Man games were like we were bound in trauma, people who played Mega Man games. Those games are fucking hard and heavy memorization, perfect platforming kind of deal. And the Mega Man 11 was super cool. Like, you had the dual gears, you had the speed gear and the power gear. And then on the boss fights, you could do dual gear, and it was like super fucking cool. You'd be like shooting a big blast, and like time would be slowing down because technically Mega Man's moving like a fucking light speed. Ah, man, it was so cool. It really trivialized some of the challenges in that game, but I don't give a fuck. That was fun. So Dual Override's got to be more fun, right? If it's more of what that was, and just the return of Mega Man in general to Capcom. I've been begging for that for a long time, haven't I?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and like you said, I think there's 2 camps when it comes to a game like this. Whether it's Mega Man or Mario or any kind of platforming game, there's the people who are like, I want it to be fun. I want it to be over the top. I want it to be colorful. I want it to be fun. And then there's the other side of the camp who's like, I want it to be so soul-crushing hard that I cry every time I play. And those 2 things are not compatible. You can't have both. So you have to pick one and you have to choose one. And I think every single game series that is like this, like you said, I think there should be the mainline series, which Capcom is fine to create, and then there should be the indie version of that, or like the spin-off, the split-off version with a side character, where it's like, okay, That's the mainline series. That's Mario. That's Mega Man. This over here, this is, I'm going to give you the biggest gun that you have ever seen. We're going to break all of the rules. Go nuts. And that's the side that interests me. That's the side that I really enjoy is the kind of like writing that line between fan fiction and like the real deal. I love that. That's where I'm at. So I'm with you. I think that's a great idea.
You better be. Capcom, you heard it. You heard him. You gotta have him. You gotta go. And I'd be totally fine if Inti Creates keeps making their Mega Man X and Mega Man spin-off games. I played a little bit of Gunvolt back in the day, and I just need to pick it back up. I was just like so disheartened that X had passed, and this was supposed to be what I got. But actually, I played it recently, and I was like, this game's fucking awesome. I'm kind of dumb for not have played this. We've got a little more time here, and I really wanted to touch on this topic of the Olympics before I don't want to spend all this time talking about Mega Man X and Fallout
Oh yeah,
like I know that we will do until 3 a.m. But
I was watching the Olympics with my parents at their house, and we both have these kind of older retro Olympic games that we played when we were kids. And for me, the one that I played, it was called, it was for Sega Genesis, and it was called Summer Challenge, and it was just a Olympic game. The sports were archery, canoeing, hurdles, equestrian jumping, hurdles, pole vault, high jump, javelin throwing, and bicycle racing. And it's just like, I sent you the video of it. I don't know how to explain it to somebody who's not watching the video. Maybe we can pull that up on the podcast. But it's like, Sega Genesis had this uncanny ability to be like, oh, these graphics are dog shit. That's okay. And then like you go into the game and there will be these specific moments where the graphics just all of a sudden get really, really good, and the animations get really, really good for like 3 frames, and then it just goes back to being really, really bad. And that's exactly what this game was. It was like, you'll be racing along, and you're mashing the buttons trying to go, but then the second that you wreck, it's like the game goes into this like explosion of color and animation and style, and it's like, oh, that was really cool, that was really fun. And like the sound effects are that real low quality grainy sound effect that like you and I just latch onto. Yeah, it's awesome. I love that game.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that footage after you were talking about it. To me, I think these graphics look amazing, like the Sega, it's the Genesis, and so these look way better than what the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, could do. So I was like, oh wow! And the sound chip is so much different than the sound chip that was in the NES. And of course, the 2 games that we're going to talk about, I mean, they're similar in theme, but they don't share a lot of the same events. So it was just interesting you talking about like crashing the boat.
Yeah.
Like purposely.
Yeah, all of the game modes have like a fail condition, and every single one of them are hilarious. The bicycling one, you're on a track, and if you go too slow, you tip over and you fall off the bike. But if you go too fast, you don't take the corner right, and you drift up the ramp, and you will like launch yourself up into the air and collapse into a heap, which is very funny. The javelin throwing, it's a timing event where you're sprinting down a track, and then you have to press the button at the appropriate time to throw your javelin with like maximum distance. But you don't have to throw it, so you can just keep running like forever into the track and just keep going. And the guy behind you is, the judge is just like, fault, foot fault, foot fault. And you just keep running. It's so fun. Yeah, I love that. I loved the failure condition so much more than winning.
I think that's indicative to how we play games now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you supposed to do? I want to do the opposite of that. Let's see if we can go through the wall right here.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't you do that. I've talked about this game, the one I wanted to talk about before on the podcast, I'm sure. but the track and field game, and it's a summer game. I'm sure there's winter games or whatever, because I think that's what's going on right now. I don't really pay attention to the Olympics at all, but the Olympic Games on any system, they were just awesome because they were a collection of mini games. I think that's how we ended up with like WarioWare and things like that. Just those collections of mini games are so much fun because you don't have to be super good at them. Or Mario Party, you know, where it's just like, oh yeah, mini game starts. Oh fuck, you fucked up. Too bad. Next game. Like what? Wait a minute, I don't know what to do. But track and field had a 100-meter dash, a long jump, a javelin throw, 100-meter hurdles, high jump. I swear it had an archery mode. I don't remember. But fuck, it was so fun. I just remember playing that at my grandma's house on the NES. I'm pretty sure you could get a giant pad that you could like run on, you know, and it had the A and B button because you had to push A and B to run your guy in the different like running events, and you know, push up on the D-pad to jump over the hurdles and things like that. And they were just fun games. It's really funny because the characters looked like Mario but tall. It was really weird. But it was really simple sound and effects, you know, what you would expect from the NES. And they're really super nostalgic. It's just great games. Great collections of mini games that we remember as kids.
I think that for me is I really enjoy sports games, but a sports game is always going to be the thing that you're there to play. You know, so like if I'm playing football, it's always going to be 11-on-11 football. If I'm playing basketball, it's always going to be 5-on-5 basketball. You know, hockey is always going to be, you know, but when you go to play these kind of collection of mini games, for whatever reason, it always seems to be like Olympic games or, you know, track and field games. There's these collections of games. So you're never doing the same thing twice. You're always moving on to the next thing. Like you said, it's like, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. And there's almost that sense of like at first it's a sense of panic because it's like, wait, I'm going to lose. And then, like I said earlier, it's like that failure almost becomes its own reward because it's hilarious how bad you do, you know, putting yourself in the mindset of like, I'm an Olympic athlete. And then you just like stumble out of the block and fall on your face right out of the gate as soon as they launch the starter pistol. That to me is hilarious. And so I think that's kind of the charm of playing these collection games, these mini games, where you never really get into a rhythm, but then you also never really get bored by playing the same thing multiple times.
Yeah, I left off a couple of games that were in that track and field. We got the triple jump and I totally forgot the ski shooting, and I wanted to talk about that. They did have archery. I fucking Googled it. Yeah, I remember. And the high jump. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it had the fail conditions that were funny. Like you hit the fucking bar and fall straight down. Or you fucking jump on the long jump and you go like 1 foot. Like you didn't go anywhere. It was just great. I don't know. Anybody can sit down and play. You can play multiplayer. I think that was always a big thing in our house, if we could play a game multiplayer or not. Because, you know, me and my brothers are sitting there playing. We all want to play. We all want to turn. We don't have to. Oh, well, it's your turn to fight the next boss, so here's your controller. I mean, we would do that, but when it was like, this is your turn, actually.
Yeah, those were always more fun.
Well, I'm sure we could sit here and talk more about these Olympic style games, but I think we let them go early this week, so we can go back to what are you, beating the dead horse about Fallout and Mega Man off recording. This is off the record.
Are you trying to tell the people at home that we should go?
I should go.
I should go.
I should go. We'll see you folks later.
See ya.